Hello everyone and welcome to Isms by Josie. The first part of this video will do autumn marble nails using regular nail polish, then adorn with crystals using gel polish. First I did an infill and put down a layer of foundation gel. Then I'm going to be taking Sally Hansen Miracle Gel color wine stock and putting down 2 coats on my entire nail, tips and underside. For this design, I've chosen to use mostly regular nail polish so that anyone can recreate this design with what they have. This particular gel is pretty good when you lay it down. It doesn't leave brushstroke marks. But of course, as you can see here, we'll need 2 coats because it's more on the translucent side. The only drawback from using regular nail polish is that between coats, you definitely need to give it some time to dry. So my filming actually stretched out between 2 days in order for each coat to properly dry. Putting down the second coat, you can start to see its true color that you can see coming from the bottle. And after these 2 coats, I did do the underside of each nail. Last nail. Starting top left to bottom right, I'm using Sally Hansen Miracle Gel, colors Game of Chromes, Sweet Tea and Spice Age, and Born Pretty Stamping Polish number 1 and number 9. I'll be taking each color and putting a strip down on my sticker backing. And you can do any combination of color. You don't necessarily need to follow how I'm laying these down. But because this is regular nail polish, you definitely want to try to work as fast as you can so that the top layer of this doesn't harden. When you lay this down on your nail, it'll end up getting, it'll lay down goopy. So I'm just going to take my brush and take a little swipe from the strips of nail polish, and I'm going to place it on my nail and just wiggle it in the direction that I want this marble to go. And if it starts looking like there's some blobs, it's easier to fix that. I'm getting another glob and just placing this haphazardly on the nail and swiveling my brush back and forth in tiny back and forth motions to create tinier squiggles. But where there's globs, you can just grab some of it and just drag it through your design if you want to break up the color. And of course, the amount of nail polish you use will be obviously the amount that comes off on your nail. So if you don't want a bumpy nail, use the nail polish sparingly. I myself just want this to be, I want the texture of the marble, so I am being very generous on the amount of nail polish that I'm using. So again, I'm doing the same thing on my middle finger, and I'm just grabbing a strip of this stripy nail polish I made and laying it down on my nail and dragging it down in a swivel motion, in a tiny swivel motion. And these are kind of happy accidents. So again, you don't need to be super perfect with how you're doing this. As you do more marble nails or designs, you'll get to gauge like what colors you want to have in what order and how to drag them through certain sections that you lay down in case something isn't dragging very well. But you'll definitely find it's very easy to create this marble effect just by messing around with this brush, but not over messing it to where the color will just mix and form its new color. So now I'm doing the same thing again on my last nail. And I wanted to do this on my thumbnail just because there's more surface space to play with. So I definitely wanted to see this marble effect on my biggest nail. I get really happy sometimes when I pour nail polish on a plate or on this backing and I end up using the exact amount of what I pour out because, you know, nobody likes to waste anything. So the thumbnail is always hard to maneuver around when you're doing it on your own nail because obviously, you know, rotating it to where you can see it straight is a little difficult. If you get nail polish on your skin, you can always take another brush with a little bit of acetone and wipe it off. This is definitely funny to do with your less dominant hand because it really is a natural squiggle. So again, this is regular nail polish and you'd want it to dry. For those with only regular nail polish, you can stop right here and just put on a top coat. But for those that want to bling it up, you can use nail glue. In my case, I'm taking these crystals. I'll leave a link in the description box below. But I have my gummy jelly with my lamp. So you can still do this part of the design if you don't have a lamp. You'll just have to use nail glue. So right now, like, I didn't really come up with design, but I'm selecting the crystals that I want to use. And here's another case of some regular crystal rhinestones. And I'm just trying to figure out what design I want to have. And just laying it down so I have an idea. So I won't be fiddling around when after I'm done laying the gummy jelly and the shiny. So now I'm taking my gummy jelly by Couture, then taking my shiny again by Couture, and I'm going to be placing this only where I think I'm going to be laying down my stones. I want to be very minimal with this as possible because I intend on putting a matte coat over this, and I don't need to apply this shiny on the entire nail. So I'm just placing these stones down, and again, for those that have regular nail polish, you just need to take some nail glue and stick these where you want, and then you can lay down a matte top coat on your nails around the rhinestones if you choose, or regular top coat if that suits you better, if you want the glossy finish. But otherwise, if you have a lamp and gummy jelly, stick with me, and I'll be finishing up this design. So here I'm just trying to give it two looks, looking at my finger, as you can see right now, and then flipping it the other way so that I can see it from afar, because you'll find that your center is not always the center you think once you give it another perspective. So I'm just giving my double check to see if these stones are placed in the middle. Usually I don't care. I mean, I'm the one that looks at these, so I'll just have my nails laying like this, as you can see, and if it's center to me, it's center. But you know, sometimes I guess since it's the only design on this bare nail, I want to make sure that it's exactly center. So it's good to change up your perspective to make sure of that. I'm just using my tool to push it around, double check. And we're curing this as we go because we don't want those suckers to move around. So now I'm going to my thumbnail, and I wanted to do something extra on there, so that's why I chose the larger diamond shaped crystal, and I'm just applying just enough to lay down these pieces on there. And I'm trying to be mindful of the shiny. Like I said, this sucker runs around everywhere, so you want to be very minimal using it. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot to clean up if you're trying to do the matte coat effect. So now I'm just laying this stuff down. I decided to, you know, make this marble look more like a geo marble looking thing. And there's no rhyme or reason with these stone placements. I just wanted to flank these stones to kind of not protect the diamond shaped crystal, but just to make sure it stays in place. And you always want to try doing that. If you have a larger stone that you're putting on your nail, you want to back it with smaller ones just so that it's more secure. And also so that it doesn't get caught in your hair or, you know, frays in your clothing or loops or whatever, because that will rip the stone right off. Now I'm taking my gold glitter by Shany, my striper nail polish, and I'm just going back in there. I mean, I haven't done anything with the marble yet. There's no top coat on it, but I want to put more accents on the marble, so I'm just taking this gold striper and just following the lines of the marble so that it gives it more of a geodesic look to the marble. And as you can see in the light, it's so cute. The little glitters that reflect off when you just move that nail around, it catches the light, so it's a little pop, extra pop in your design. And this striper gel polish dries fairly quickly, especially since you're only putting very little polish on there. So by the time I get back around it, I'll put a top coat and it'll be fine to cure. Again, if you're trying to mix regular nail polish with gel, you definitely want to be sure that the regular nail polish dries very well. Otherwise, when you try to cure it with the top coat will shrink and will shrink your nail polish underneath. So if you're looking for a smooth finish, you're not going to see that. You're going to see lines and bubbles. And unless that's what you're looking for, definitely don't rush the dry process for regular nail polish. So now I'm going to take these tiny, tiny pixie crystals. They come in a bag, so I'm just going to pour it into this little cap that I have. And I wanted to make the marble look like there were some quartz or rocks on the edges. I'm not sure what that's called. I want to say quartz, but that means that it's a quartz stone and it's not. But so now I'm just taking the gummy jelly and I'm putting down a thin line to outline my marble. For my thumbnail, I'm just doing it on the bottom edge since there's already crystals on top. Don't want to overpower it with too much bling. And I'll be doing the top and bottom outline of my middle and ring finger. And just drawing a thin line with the gummy jelly. Now I'm going to take my Shiny and then do the same over the gummy jelly, trying to be trying to use the Shiny very sparingly so that it doesn't over drip past the gummy jelly. Then I'm going to just take my tool and shovel on the pixie crystals. As you can see, I had to magnify this because they're so tiny and they're so cute. And I'm just pouring these over the gummy jelly and shiny that we had applied. And it's just going to create like an outline, a outline of the marble design we put down. And I'm going to do that to all 3 nails, just let it settle in. And we'll fix the, I'll use my tool to make it more of a line than just scattered all over the place. I mean, these pixie crystals are so tiny, as you can see, so I just really wanted to get this part out of the way so that I can focus on getting the line straight after. I'll leave a link in the description box below if anybody wants to purchase these crystals. I liked them so much and they go pretty far because prior to this design, I was putting them on the whole nail, and I did that maybe like 2-3 times. So you definitely have a decent amount in there. Now I'm just going back in with my tool and I'm just pushing those pixie crystals in place, filling in any gaps that I missed. And you just want to make sure you get it on the outline only. And you can just easily remove them from the marble design if it gets on there. Just one thing I want you to be mindful of is that these pixie crystals, although they're so cute, they are kind of sharp. If you scratch like your face or a sensitive part of your skin, so just be sure when you're placing these crystals that you're not placing them on the very tip of your nail, or if you can understand what I'm saying, the underside of the side walls, because you know when people scratch their face or anywhere, they tend to do it with their nails, but they'll hit the surface, will hit the undersides and the tip first. So you just want to be sure that those are clear of the pixie crystals, because just one could scratch you, and it's not the greatest feeling as you can imagine. So just be mindful of that. But as you can see here, they're so clear that they're kind of melting into the marble design, but because they're faceted, when you move your nail around, it's catching, the light is catching in those facets, so it looks pretty cool, like it's giving off that extra color. And of course it's also reflecting colors that are around it, so you're getting this cute hue to it. So now I'm taking Sally Hansen's Big Matte Top Coat, and I'm carefully laying this over the wine stock color of my nails. The wine stock being the main background of my nail, in case we forget the names of these colors. I'll leave the names in the description box below. But yeah, you just want to be very careful with it, and then to get into those crevices, just use a detail brush. Of course, around the marble design, I mean, yes, be careful with it, but if you put matte top coat on the marble design, I mean, we're going to top this off with a clear top coat anyway, so you won't have to worry about the marble design looking matte if you don't want it to look matte. But in doing the matte coat, it's giving the contrast between the matte coat and then the marble design, which is going to have the top glossy coat along with the pixie crystals. So this design is definitely going to pop out, especially with the index and pinky finger, which only has like the few stones on there, but because we're laying down this matte coat, it's going to look so good with that backdrop. And same thing here, you can already see that that crystal is just bouncing off the background color, and this wine stock, it's kind of like a very deep maroonish, and it wants to be purple kind of. So you can see that crystal is reflecting these pink, purple, reddish hues. So again, here I'm coming in with my detail brush to get into those crevices where it's the plain background, just to make sure that every bit of it has the matte coat on there. A detail brush is your best friend whenever you're doing designs. It can help you lay down color where you need it, where you've missed it, where you need to correct it. It gets into those tiny crevices. It can clean up spots that you accidentally hit. So get a detail brush. As you can see, this is already looking like some geo-marble design. And one thing that I find, at least with regular polished up matte coat, is that you really want to get in there and work quickly with a good amount of the polish to avoid leaving streaks. Because if you're not even with your polish laying it down, you'll definitely see the ledges or the brush stroke streaks if you're not fast enough with the right amount of polish. So now I'm taking my Top It Off Clear Coat by Gelish, and I'm going to be placing this on my marble design. So again, like I said, at this point my nail polish is dry, so that when I cure it under the lamp, it doesn't bubble or turn into a funky monkey. I don't know. The top matte coat is a regular nail polish though, so I did have to take time to have that dry fully as well. And I'm just going in there with my detail brush to get these corners that my nail polish brush isn't able to get without making a huge mess. And with gel polish, you have time to play with it. And I'm curing in between, just so that the clear coat doesn't move around while waiting for me to finish the rest of the nails. Because as you see, I'm taking some time with this, and your top coat could run if you put it on too heavily. After I cure this, I did a nail cleanser on a Q-tip to remove the sticky layer. I didn't show that on film, but I'm just letting you know, just to get into the crevices between the pixie crystal outlines. I needed something that would fit rather than my wipes. But be careful with the Q-tip around the pixie crystals, because they could catch and pull some of that Q-tip material. Now I'm doing the second wipe with my no-lint wipes and nail cleanser, just to make sure I got all that sticky layer off the top coat. And just try to avoid touching the regular nail polish sides so you don't ruin it. Now I'm taking my Nourish Cuticle Oil by Gelish and applying this to each finger. These times are making the weather so harsh on my skin, and it's only the beginning. Winter's not even here yet, so I'm definitely liking this oil right now. So there you have it, my geo-marble nails using autumn colors. I absolutely love these nails. I love the contrast between the matte coat and all that crystally, shiny marble design. Thank you so much for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please like and subscribe for future videos. See you again soon. Thanks. Bye.